What if the only thing standing between you and your dreams isn't money, talent, or connections, but clarity? Imagine walking through a dense fog, knowing your destination is ahead, but unable to see the path. You take steps forward, but each one is filled with uncertainty. What if you're heading in the wrong direction? What if you're wasting time? What if the place you're chasing isn't even where you truly want to go? That's how most people live, moving, struggling, pushing forward, yet never feeling fully certain. Never knowing if they're on the right path. The question is, how do you clear the fog? Clarity is the foundation of success. Every great leader, every visionary, every high achiever has one thing in common. They know exactly what they want and why. They are decisive. They are certain. They don't waste energy questioning their path because they have already chosen it with conviction. But here's the hard truth. Most people never reach that level of certainty. They chase goals that aren't even theirs. They make choices based on fear. They follow a blueprint that someone else handed them and then wonder why they feel lost. And that's where everything starts to unravel. The reason most people struggle with clarity isn't because they aren't smart enough, talented enough, or hardworking enough. It's because of three invisible barriers: fear, confusion, and external pressure. Fear whispers, "What if you fail?" So you hesitate, waiting for a perfect moment that never comes. You think about what could go wrong instead of what could go right. You overanalyze, second guess, and before you know it, weeks, months, even years pass by, and you're still standing in the same place. Confusion is even worse. You think clarity will come if you just gather more information. So you research, analyze, compare. You collect endless possibilities but never commit to one. And in trying to keep all doors open, you walk through none of them. Then there's external pressure, the silent killer of dreams. Maybe your parents had a plan for you. Maybe society told you what success should look like. Maybe you've been chasing a goal that looks good but doesn't feel right. Imagine climbing a ladder for years, only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. So you get stuck. Not because you're incapable, not because you lack potential, but because the fog around you is so thick you don't know which way to turn. But here's what no one tells you. Clarity doesn't come from waiting. It doesn't come from thinking. It doesn't even come from knowing the perfect answer. It comes from asking the right question. Because if you ask the wrong question, you'll get the wrong answer. And most people, they're asking themselves the wrong questions every single day. They ask, "What should I do?" That's the wrong question. They ask, "What's the safest option?" That's the wrong question. They ask, "What will make people respect me?" That's the wrong question. There is only one question that matters. One question that, if you answer honestly, will cut through years of uncertainty in seconds. Ask yourself, if I had no fear, no pressure, and no limitations, what would I truly want? Not what's practical, not what's expected, not what will impress people, but what feels right. Because deep down, you already know the answer. You've always known. It's been buried under doubt, buried under expectations, buried under the noise of the world telling you who you should be. But if you listen closely, if you silence the distractions and just ask, that answer will come rushing in. It might scare you, it might surprise you, but it will be real. And the second you acknowledge it, the fog begins to lift. Think about it. What if every decision you've ever struggled with, every moment of doubt, was simply a result of not listening to yourself? Because clarity isn't something you find, it's something you create. And it starts by stripping away the noise, the fear, and the expectations that don't belong to you. It starts by making a choice. Not a perfect choice, not a guaranteed choice, but your choice. And here's the secret most people never realize. Clarity doesn't come before action. It comes from action. You don't get clear by thinking. You get clear by moving. By trying, failing, adjusting. By doing. Because the moment you step forward, the path reveals itself. But if you wait for the path to appear before you take a step, you'll be waiting forever. So now, it's your turn. Imagine yourself 5 years from now. Picture that version of you, the one who finally made a choice, who stopped hesitating, who stepped into clarity and took control. What does that person look like? What kind of life are they living? What kind of confidence do they walk with? Now imagine the opposite. Imagine 5 years passing and nothing has changed. You're still stuck in the same cycle, still questioning, still overthinking, still waiting for the right moment that never comes. Which version of you do you want to become? Because here's the brutal truth. Time will pass either way. The only difference is whether you use it to move forward or let it slip through your fingers. And clarity? It isn't about knowing every step in advance. It's about having the courage to take the first one without needing permission, without waiting for guarantees, and without letting fear dictate your future. So let me ask you again. What would you do if you had no fear? No pressure? No limits? Answer that question, then act on it. Even if it's small, even if it's uncertain, act. Because the moment you do, you'll realize something powerful. You were never lost. You were never stuck. You were simply waiting for permission to trust yourself. And now, you don't need permission. You just need to begin. The hidden cost of hesitation. But let's go deeper, because hesitation has a cost most people don't even realize until it's too late. Think about every time you've hesitated on a decision, every time you've delayed taking action, every time you've convinced yourself that later was a better time to start. What has that hesitation cost you? It's cost you opportunities. The job you never applied for, the business you never launched, the idea you never executed. It's cost you relationships, the people you never approached, the conversations you never had, the connections you never built. It's cost you time you'll never get back. And the scariest part? The longer you hesitate, the harder it becomes to move. Because hesitation doesn't just delay action, it kills momentum. It keeps you trapped in a cycle of overthinking and self-doubt. And before you know it, hesitation has turned into habit. And habits? They shape your future. The truth about clarity. Here's something most people don't understand. Clarity isn't about eliminating uncertainty. It's about moving forward despite it. The most successful people in the world don't have all the answers. They don't always know the perfect next step, but they take action anyway. Why? Because they understand that clarity comes through movement. Think of it like driving a car at night. Your headlights only illuminate a small section of the road ahead. You can't see your destination. But as long as you keep moving, the next part of the road reveals itself. Life works the same way. You don't need to see the entire journey. You just need to take the next step. And then another. And then another. And before you know it, you're exactly where you were meant to be. The biggest lie about success. There's a lie people tell themselves about success. They think success comes from having all the right answers, from being certain, from knowing exactly what to do. But that's not true. Success comes from something much simpler, the willingness to start. Because the moment you start, you separate yourself from 99% of people. Most people will hesitate. Most people will overthink. Most people will wait for certainty that never comes. But not you. Not anymore. Your next step. So here's my challenge to you. Pick one thing, just one that you've been hesitating on. It could be starting that project, making that decision, taking that risk, and commit to doing something about it. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be something. Because the moment you move, you break the cycle. The moment you move, you take back control. The moment you move, clarity follows. And that's how everything changes. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What's the one thing you've been hesitating on, but now see with more clarity? I want to hear it. And if you're ready for the next step, check out my video on how to trust your intuition. Because sometimes the answer you're searching for isn't in the outside world, it's been inside you all along.